How to make an offer before auction. Most property buyers don't like auctions. They worry about getting caught up in a bidding war and will often do anything to avoid the pressure. But is it always in your best interests to buy before auction? The answer is not always, so it's important to understand how market conditions affect things before you act. In a hot market, it's really hard to buy a property before auction. Agents prefer to avoid taking offers because they hate messy negotiations with multiple buyers and also the possibility of being blamed by those who miss out. And on the other hand, in a slow market, it's usually very easy to buy a property before auction. And in fact, some agents will sell as many as 80 to 90% of their listings before auction. Now, of course, you have to wonder why. Well, I'll tell you why. When buyers are thin on the ground, there's often only one serious buyer for each property. Before the auction, you won't know you're the only interested one, but the agent will. And a smart agent will engineer an offer from you rather than let you get to auction and realise that you're their best buyer. Now, how do they do this? Be on the lookout for an agent suggesting the vendor has seen something that they'd like to buy, so they're now motivated to take an offer before auction day. And another common clue is when they suggest that other buyers have made offers, but they want extended settlements, which doesn't suit the vendor. One of the benefits of an auction for buyers is that they're transparent. Whereas if you make an offer beforehand and the agent says somebody else is interested, you'll have to take their word for it. If you call their bluff and that buyer does exist, well, there's a risk that they'll sell it to them and not to you. But if you keep it cool and hold your fire until the auction in a slow market, there's a good chance you won't have to compete, and even if you do, it's less likely to be frenetic. Now, auctions are a whole lot less scary if you're well prepared, so I've created a free ebook for you. The link is below in the notes. Now, if you still want to make an offer before auction, it's important that you get your timing right. Week 1 in an auction campaign is usually too early. The owner won't have had enough exposure to the market to feel inclined to sell unless your price is ridiculous. The last week of the campaign is not a good time either because there's a greater risk of competition. Any other buyers that are interested in the property have also had the opportunity to get ready to act. However, if the agent is encouraging you to make an offer in the final week, that's a clue that you might be the only buyer or at least the strongest buyer. And in this case, you'd be better off to wait and go to auction. The optimum time if you're going to make a pre-auction offer is in the middle of the campaign, usually the second week. The vendor is more likely to feel that they've had enough exposure to the market by then, and it's also before most other buyers get themselves ready to compete with you. You also need to know that all agents manage offers differently. To maximise your success, ask what process the agent will follow once you have made an offer, and don't try and play games. Lastly, if you do make an offer, make sure you are ready to sign the contract unconditionally because you'll need to buy under auction conditions.